Come ride a little train going down the track at the junction. Woo, woo, Pinnacle Junction. There's old Uncle Joe moving kind of slow at the junction. Woo, woo, Pinnacle Junction. I will return.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Getting word of an accident in the turn lane on Pensacola Boulevard at Broad Street. Very slow on the Bayway, eastbound on I-10. From I-65 to the Eastern Shore, it's a 46-minute drive. On Highway 98 from Daphne to I-10, an 8-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Score major deals on top brands at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Find your dream mattress today. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right one to fit your unique needs. They make sleep easy.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Gold. That's gold. Enter it now at newsradio710.com. The Uncle Henry Show. Weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
Message 75 received at 4:18 p.m.
I don't want you calling me back. I don't know how I got this in the first place. Bye.
Press 4. Message deleted.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Thank you. I appreciate very much you listening to the Uncle Henry Show. I really do. This job, it means a lot to me. Actually, the paycheck means a lot to me. Well, once again, here we are together, the two of us here trying to figure out what is going on in the world around us. I mean, every day it seems to be just wilder and stranger and weirder. And maybe you and I can figure it all out together. Telephone number here to reach the Uncle Henry Show if you want to call in live with something, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Today, this hour, got a bunch of stuff, got just a bunch of things to talk about. Lots of different news items from around the state and the country and different voicemails from listeners, just all these different things to get into here on the Uncle Henry Show. And then the possible live caller. You never know what a live caller might bring up here on the Uncle Henry Show. Now, tonight, no Mardi Gras parades in downtown Mobile. But then tomorrow night, the parades kick back off, and then they continue through Fat Tuesday. Now, I think a lot of people need the night off tonight. Just judging by my coworkers. I work with a bunch of people that are very lively most of the time. Lively, rambunctious type of people that approach life with a lot of gusto. They want all that life has to offer them. These people I work with, they're rambunctious, lively people, full of vim and vigor. But I've noticed this week, starting Monday, very quiet. Yes, these rambunctious, lively people that I work with, very quiet, very subdued, almost as if they've just partied themselves out. I don't really know that. I'm using speculatory knowledge where I'm speculating.
I don't know that, but that's just speculation. Like everybody has speculatory knowledge.
That's right. I've got speculatory knowledge that my coworkers have just partied too hard. In fact, I've got one supervisor that has been leaving early. Again, I just using speculatory knowledge. It looks like these folks that I work with, they need a night off tonight. They need a night off so that they can marshal whatever energies they have in their bodies to carry them forward into more of their whatever they're up to down at Mardi Gras. So if you need the rest, good for you. You'll get some tonight, allegedly. Now, there's a lot going on, a lot of different news items, some good, some bad, some in the middle. There's several. Most of the stuff coming out of the Alabama legislature makes me sad. Yes, sad, depressed. An example, I'll give you an example from the Alabama legislature, something that's going on that's got me just kind of sad and depressed. And that is that we've got a whole bunch of these lawmakers that tell us that we, at this point, we just cannot be trusted with voting for who would represent us on the Public Service Commission, that we're not up to it as voters, that they know better. We as voters, we just should not pick the people on the Public Service Commission that regulate these utilities, like, Alabama Power. And they've got legislation, a whole bunch of these politicians that I guess really enjoy donations from Alabama Power and friendships with the Alabama Power people. They want to make it so that we can't vote for the Public Service Commission anymore. Here's a brief story on this from WBRC up in Birmingham, stepsister station to Fox 10. They had a committee meeting, and it got out of the committee yesterday. A whole bunch of politicians in favor of this.
Alabama is one of 10 states that still elects its utility commission, and some lawmakers say it's time to change.
We move towards an appointed Public Service Commission. We have an opportunity to reset things and at least have an opportunity to try to get our rates lower.
Really? No, nobody's explaining how the rates would go down if they did this. If you had less representation, they haven't explained how that would work, but they're saying it's an opportunity.
House Bill 392 as amended passes.
The vote down party lines with the exception of Representative Brett Easterbrook, the lone GOP no vote.
We're at the highest utility rates in the Southeast. And they just approved keeping them there for 2 years.
Democrats voted against the bill.
Why are we taking the vote from the people? That's one. Two is, will this seat have a term limit?
And there is some real ethics reform, too, in that it prevents commissioners of the Public Service Commission, commissioners and their families from being employed by a regulated utility or taking anything of value from a regulated utility, and then also from owning stock in any regulated company.
Others are.
Now, that doesn't apply to the people that would appoint them. Just to the people on the commission. Now, the people that appoint them, I guess they can get all that stuff.
Concerned it would give undue influence to Alabama Power, the monopoly for-profit electric provider.
The regulated should not be choosing their regulators, but this bill creates a loophole in that very protection. Alabama Power can donate practically unlimited sums to all of you, the Speaker, the Senate Pro Tem, and the Governor. The very people who would now control the entire appointment process if this bill becomes law.
We believe this bill is a major step backwards in our efforts towards greater transparency and accountability. We know how unpopular this bill is with the general public.
As for who will do the appointing, that changed today with an amendment. The governor would do the appointing, the Senate would confirm, but both chambers would help the governor narrow down those lists. As for when this will expect it to go to the House, we expect that will probably happen next week. Then the process will start all the way over in the Senate.
All right, so you heard what was, instead of you getting to vote, because you obviously can't handle voting on who would be on the Public Service Commission, according to these politicians. It would go to the governor. Now, here's one of the politicians explaining why this is so good, this idea that this would be taken away from you.
The thing that's important about having an appointed Public Service Commission is that we can pick experts that are confirmed by the state Senate, and that will give the Public Service Commission more of a professional face.
All right, so what we're being told is that we're too dumb. We're just too dumb to vote for Public Service Commission. It's over our heads as citizens of Alabama. We need to leave it up to the We need to leave it up to the governor and the members of the legislature. Now, see, I don't understand. So if the governor would appoint them, see, I don't understand. I'm smart enough to vote for governor, but I'm not smart enough to vote for the Public Service Commission. I guess I should feel lucky they let me vote at all.
We're seeing congestion at the Bankhead Tunnel on eastbound Highway 98 from Government to I-10. It's a 5-minute drive. Also east on I-10 on the Bayway from I-65 to the Eastern Shore. 38-minute drive. Watch for an accident southbound on Cottage Hill at Magnolia Road. Also an accident on Pensacola Boulevard at Broad Street in the turn lane. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Point Broadband.
In our community, connection matters. Switch to Point Broadband today to get 1 gig fiber internet for just $49 a month, plus a $250 kit.
YouTube viewers, thank you for looking here on YouTube. And we've got a small number of people looking in. Hello to JD. JD asking how the parade go. Parade went wonderful. I'll make a note to tell you more about it here in a moment, in case you cared. But thank you for asking. Even if you don't care, it's nice that you asked. So thank you, JD. JD, 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley. Chuck, thank you for looking in, Chuck. And I agree with you on the solar farm. It's another thing that's depressing. I can get into that later, possibly. Bama Big Man. Larry Morting, the Love Freak 69, hello to you. Norman Richardson. Thank you all for looking in on the program. Now let's see, going to be back on the radio here in about 3 minutes. What can I tell you? There were some good weird news stories. I saw today good weird news stories. So I will share maybe 1 or 2 with you before we go back on the radio. Back on the radio here in less than 3 minutes with more Uncle Henry Show. Got a caller waiting to talk. Okay, there is a there's a new sport in Australia. Now, when I saw this story, I thought it was fake, but it's real. Now, the sport in Australia it's where 2 people run at each other at full speed as fast as they can, and they run head on into each other. The goal is to try to knock the other person down. That's the only goal. You run at each other full speed and try and knock each other down. You slam right into each other. They call it the Run Nation Championship. They just sold out a 5,500-seat arena in Sydney for people to sit. They paid money to sit and watch people running into each other. So what's going on down there? Something is going on down there. If they feel the need, there's a lot of contact sports, wrestling, American-style football, for example. There's a lot of things where if you want to run into somebody, rugby, boxing, MMA, ultimate fighting. What is going on down there where they just want to run into each other at full speed? Something's wrong. Something's going on down there in their culture. Here in our country, there's more of that MMA stuff. There's more of that ultimate fighting type stuff. Down there, I guess they don't want to take the time to train, and they just want to run into each other. I don't know. Medical experts, this news story says medical experts warn that collisions can cause problems. By the way, they do say that when they host these events where people are running into each other, they do have doctors and paramedics on site in case somebody runs into you and knocks you down. All right, back on the radio.
The Washington spending fight, culture wars, and what's really coming next. No spin, no talking points, just the facts that the media won't give you. Listen and subscribe to The Truth with Lisa Booth on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, News Radio 710 WNTM. It is 5:20. We have news headlines coming up in 10 minutes. Telephone number here is 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. In the last segment of the show, you heard me talking about this terrible, stanky bill up in Montgomery that is going to take our opportunity to vote for members of the Public Service Commission away from us. And I yes, it's stanky. It's a terrible bunch of legislation. It's depressing that this would get brought forward by so many politicians up there. They're telling us that we're too dumb to vote for who would be on the Public Service Commission. However, they're saying that we are smart enough to vote for the people that would appoint and confirm these people. So we've got a little bit of sense, but not quite enough. We got enough sense to vote for governor, but you ain't got enough sense to vote for Public Service Commission. You just need to trust these expert politicians that have really been educated by all the lobbyists, and they know exactly what's best for us. And as stanky as it is, I predict it'll absolutely get passed because has Alabama Power ever lost out on something they wanted? 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. I've got numerous other useless opinions to share with you. But first, let me go to the phones. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Uncle Henry.
Bert, you are live on the radio.
If that bill passes, it's only going to be the beginning, Uncle Henry. This movement to restrict the number of elections in this state has been going on for at least 30 years. I remember there was a big debate in the Press Register about it. The newspaper came out with a column saying we shouldn't be electing judges in Alabama anymore.
Right.
And I raised and the Alabama Bar Association was right along there with them. And I raised the same question you did, if you think that we're not competent to vote in these things, how about advising us as to which way you think we ought to vote? If you don't think we're getting enough information, Bar Association, Press Register, give us the information. And we'll take it with a grain of salt because we know what your slant is going to be, but at least weigh in with your opinion. And Uncle Henry, the reason that people didn't want then, probably now, Alabama voters electing judges is because conservatives always keep winning the elections. Now, I don't know how that figures into this bill, but you can bet that it's an insider thing. They want more control exercised by the insiders. I've raised this many, many times, but the issue of no-bid contracts has dogged several of our past governors. And to me, no bid means secret bid. Whoever comes up with the biggest kickback gets the contract. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. Is the insiders want more control. And that's all this is about. They figure that we will vote against people who will work for their interests.
Well, and as I said, Bert, It's hard now. It's hard for me to imagine this not passing, because if Alabama Power is the one that wants it passed, I can't remember a time that Alabama Power hadn't got what they wanted.
Exactly. And it'll only be the beginning. There was a proposal in the Press Register in February of 2002 that the people of this state only vote for the governor and the lieutenant governor who run as a ticket, and the governor appoints everybody else. And Uncle Henry, at least the attorney general, I believe, should be kept in elective office. I almost favor it being an elective office nationwide, because there have been a lot of attorneys general who consider their president to be above the law, like Janet Reno. Well, that's all I got to say, Uncle Henry. Oh, and there's going to be a benefit at the Blues Tavern on March 1st for an artist who does band logos named Tracy Duart. My band is not going to be playing there, but I'm going to be there taking video of all the other bands that are going to be there, and I'm going to put on my Facebook story.
Okay, so that is going to be on March 1st?
Right.
Okay.
Sunday, March 1st.
All right, well, I'll make sure I talk more about it between now and March 1st. Hope we get some people out there.
Well, thank you for taking the call, Henry.
Hey, thank you, Bert. Thank you for listening to the show and calling, and thank you for sending me that video you sent me. Bert sent me some video of him playing at the Blues Tavern this past Friday. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. Hello, caller.
Uncle Henry.
Is this John McNeil?
John McNeil from Mobile.
John McNeil, you're live on the radio.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I hadn't talked to you in a while. I know you didn't get to come to the office last week, but that's okay. That's our fault. But I wanted to I hadn't been listening to you lately. I've been a little bit busy. Bad Bunny is my favorite new artist. What do you think?
You really? Did you enjoy the Bad Bunny show?
Uncle Henry, it was the most disgusting, vulgar halftime or any type show I've ever seen.
See, now I hadn't heard it. You know, the mainstream media, they haven't told me about the vulgarity part. I didn't realize there was some vulgarity up in there.
Well, it was a video vulgarity of. I'm not going to go into detail, but those of you who saw it, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But why would anybody want to do that? Why would Roger Goodell put that on for NFL?
Well, you know, for the last 6 or 7 years, Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z, he and his company have picked all of the Super Bowl halftime performers. They've got a deal with the NFL. So this is a...
Did they pick this? Did they pick him?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I believe they did. That was Jay-Z, the husband of Beyonce, that is all involved up in this stuff.
Did you watch it?
No. I wanted to see what the alternative halftime show was going to look like. So I flipped over onto the YouTube and watched the Turning Point USA thing with Kid Rock and Brantley Gilbert and all them other country performers.
I did the same thing, but I watched live the what's his name? Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Big Bunny. Yeah, awful Bunny. Anyway, I didn't like it at all. Vulgar. Talk to you later, Uncle Henry. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. Thank you to John McNeil for his phone call.
John McNeil.
Back with more after the news break.
Watch for an accident in Mobile on Cottage Hill Road at Magnolia Road. Also an accident being cleared Cuss Fork Road at Natchez Trace. And an accident was cleared at Eglin on Lewis Turner Boulevard at North Poquito Road. I'm Lisa Baque. Follow us on X, Total Traffic Gulf Coast.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Blindster. I started Blindster in my garage back in 2010. Since then, we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Our blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Hello, I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News. A 31-year-old man is in custody after the disappearance of a Theodore woman and her 2 children. Investigators say they used surveillance video and cell phone tracking to identify Juan Guerra as the suspect. He is facing 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping. He appeared in court Wednesday for a bond hearing. A judge set his bail at $900,000 in cash and ordered electronic monitoring if he's released. The mother and her children vanished on January 31st. Their whereabouts remain unknown. And we have more details about this developing story on Fox10TV.com. Investigators say a passenger died Saturday when a pickup truck fleeing Somerdale police crashed into a tree in Baldwin County. 28-year-old Jorge Loza Resendez died at the scene. The driver, 25-year-old Juan Jose Morales Gonzalez, was injured and arrested. He now faces a manslaughter charge and remains in jail on a $200,000 bond. Aaliyah's Highway Patrol Division continues to investigate. St. Pius X Catholic School celebrating its 15th annual Cruz de la Cardinal Parade with colorful costumes, music, and plenty of Mardi Gras spirit. This year's Wicked theme had students dressed as lions, tin men, and scarecrows. Younger children threw beads while older students marched in procession. A student royal court led the celebration, spreading carnival joy throughout campus and the community. I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News on this iHeartRadio station.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. An unmarked car and 2 agents seen outside Annie Guthrie's home during this ongoing search for her mother, Nancy, who disappeared from her home February 1st. At the Pima County Sheriff's Office in Tucson, Arizona, Fox's Jonathan Hunt explains who these unmarked cars could be.
We didn't see any badges or any guns on those 2 people who went into their house and brought those 2 bags out. A note of caution here, they may well have been agents investigating this, but we also know that the Guthrie family has hired private security, and it is possible that these were simply members of that private security detail.
The FBI and Customs and Border Protection involved in this investigation. The Bureau out with a statement that says, in part, this morning, numerous FBI agents are conducting an extensive search along multiple roadways in the Catalina foothills area related to the Guthrie investigation. America's listening to Fox News.
And going to be back on the radio here in just about 2.5 minutes. Thank you for watching on YouTube, viewers. I appreciate it very, very much. Hello to Richard Harvey. Saw Richard Harvey there. And anybody else. I small number of viewers today, so not sure if there's anybody else watching. But if you are, thank you for looking. Let me see what I can tell you before we go back on the radio. I already told you about the weird sport that has started in Australia, indicating something is wrong down there. There is a 94-year-old man that recently passed away. And when he was in his final days, he designed a postcard while he was in hospice. He designed a special postcard and had 100 of them made and got his daughter to send these postcards out after he passed away. And the postcard read, if you got it in the mail, it read, "If you're reading this, I'm dead and I really liked you." No, used it. That's made an impact there. Now I guess maybe this is something that maybe this will turn into some type of new business venture. Pretty ghoulish, ghastly. Could turn into a business venture. Or let's see, a man had his bear stolen. He had a 6-foot-tall black bear that was taxidermied, and he kept it on his porch, and somebody came and stole his taxidermied black bear. This happened in Michigan. He did call the police and said somebody stole my bear. The Michigan State Police found his bear, and now he gets his bear back.
On News Radio 710 WNTM.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. It is 5:35. You can also watch me on YouTube, just standing in here trying to make it through the hour. Look at an old man on YouTube. Uncle Henry Show on YouTube. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. I got a bunch of voicemails and other news items I want to get to, but I love the live callers. Hello, caller.
Uncle Henry, how are you?
John, I had a couple of your voicemails ready to go, but I've got you live. I'd rather talk to you live.
Well, yeah, please play those if you get a chance.
Okay.
But I'll try not to cover those two topics.
Oh, okay.
But as far as the Super Bowl goes, Bad Bunny was an abomination. Most people don't know. It wasn't even in English. It was in Spanish.
Right.
So many of the lyrics were so vulgar that it prevented them from getting fined. They may be able to still get fined because it wasn't in English. If it was in English, it would have, been too explicit.
Hey, John,
So that's their little. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to let you know. This has been a big issue, of course, in radio for many, many years. After the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake thing during that Super Bowl, strange as that sounds, they cracked down dramatically on radio and started really enforcing every kind of rule they've got for radio. So now you've made me wonder, I never would want to be vulgar on the air, but could I come in here and just cuss people out in Spanish and not get fined?
Yeah. Or Arabic, or you name it.
Yeah.
It's an end around.
Okay.
But when you're doing it on a platform, this is the biggest platform this country, maybe the world, had, that Super Bowl show.
That's true.
And it's not, Puerto Rico ain't even a state. It's a U.S. territory. So it was very racially divisive and very politically divisive, and just in very poor taste. And like you mentioned about Jay-Z, he's in those Illuminati occultist people, and they always have this subliminal stuff in all their shows. It's very evil. But I don't know. Hopefully some of these things are brought to people's attention, because I didn't watch it. I just went and listened to the radio for about 30 minutes, but I did see highlights, and I listened to talk radio afterwards, and it's unbelievable. But the second point, and I'll just touch on this, is this SAVE Act has to be passed, because 83% of the country believes in photo ID. So that's Democrats, Independents, Republicans, everybody. So and I don't know if it will pass, it should, but my question is, all the blue states give driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Right.
So that's a photo ID. So can they vote, even though they're not citizens? So there's just the level of fraud. It's not somebody voting twice in Fulton County. It's massive, enough to flip major elections, and this has to be dealt with. So that's all I have for right now. Feel free to play those two other voicemails that I tried to make 2 quick points, but it was nice talking to you, and I hope you have a great afternoon, sir.
Great. Thank you, John. I appreciate very much the points you were making. I agree with you on the SAVE Act. It's one of those issues that you look at the polling, even Democrats think that you should show ID when you vote. At least most, I don't know, 60 or 70% of the Democrats go for a voter ID, some type of ID when you vote. It's just it's one of those issues that you can't there has to be corruption involved in stopping it from passing. If it's something that both political parties, the average citizen thinks it's a good idea to have to show your ID before you vote, but their leaders won't go along with it. Well, what could be the only motives? Well, just think, what could the motives be for not having ID to vote? If you don't need ID to vote, why would you need ID to do anything else? But anyway, John, thank you very much for your phone call. I really appreciate your phone call. And on the Super Bowl, the vulgarity of the halftime act, there will be changes. There always are. There will be changes through the years. One of the things that the Turning Point USA counter-programming showed is that there is an audience for something else. And I don't know how many people I don't know how many people eventually saw the Turning Point halftime. I don't know if it was 5 million, 10 million, how many millions, but it shows advertisers that there's room for an alternative. Now, they put together that halftime show real fast. The four artists they got, that was put together pretty quick. If somebody decided to invest a little money, put together something bigger, and counter-program the Super Bowl every year, it's just going to continue to chip away at the ratings of what you correctly said. That's a huge global broadcast, the Super Bowl. But by not going for more mainstream artists for their halftime show, they're going to end up eventually cutting the audience of that incredibly powerful Super Bowl broadcast. Now, it'll still be a #1 show, but it's not going to be with the big numbers it used to be if there are continued counter-programming. And I think years ago, the TV show In Living Color had a special episode, and they timed it to air at exactly halftime during the Super Bowl, and I think it did really well. I think in the future, we're going to see a lot more legitimate, big-name counter-programming to the Super Bowl, and it's all because of the whole Bad Bunny thing. 251-479-2723, the telephone number here on the Uncle Henry Show. Let's see. I do have some other voicemail that I wanted to get to. John, I'm still going to play your voicemail, but just not in the same segment we had your call. Let me see. I've got a great voicemail to share with you for today.
Roll Tide, Uncle. Well, Uncle, as the youngsters like to say, happy hump day to you.
I've never been a fan of that, saying hump day. I just don't like it. Even if it's not meant to be vulgar, sounds vulgar.
Man, it's been a beautiful one so far to this day.
Yes.
Actually been that way this week.
Yes, great
Sure
weather.
have enjoyed it. I hope it remains this way for a few more weeks, because in 26 days, young men hit the field for the first day of practice, spring practice. Be here for you know it, brother. Roll Tide, roll.
Roll Tide, roll. 68-year-old Chris, thank you for that. Yeah, the weather has been great. Hey, speaking of that, the weather, I did this Mardi Gras parade Monday night, Order of Venus, and the Miracle on the Bay parade for St. Jude. Miracle on the Bay parade for St. Jude just raised thousands of dollars for St. Jude. It was huge success. Thank you so much to those people that put on that parade and raised that money. You know, the weather was perfect Monday night for a Mardi Gras parade, and attendance was something like 40 or 45% less than it was the year before. And then the parade last night, the Tuesday night parade, more great weather for a Mardi Gras parade. I think I saw the stats today that the parade attendance was something like 30 or 35% less than the year before. Why? What's going on? Why are less people going even when the weather is great?
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Watch for an accident in Mobile on Cottage Hill Road at Magnolia Road. Also an accident being cleared Cuss Fork Road at Natchez Trace. And an accident was
Cuss Fork.
Turner Boulevard at North Poquito Road. I'm Lisa Vaque. Follow us on X, Total Traffic Gulf Coast.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Score major deals on top brands at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Find your dream mattress today. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right one to fit your unique needs. They make sleep easy.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250.
YouTube viewers, if you're watching, thank you for watching. I appreciate very much you watching the Uncle Henry Show on YouTube. Thank you to those of you that have subscribed to it. I think that by the time I could get to 1,000 subscribers by the time I'm 90, if we keep this up. If I can I get like one new subscriber a month. If I could just keep, maybe by the time, well, I don't know. By the time I'm 110, get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's see. I've got more voicemail and stuff to get to after we go back on the radio. But what can we talk about while I'm waiting to go back on the radio? Let me look first to make sure you're watching. And yes, I see a small number of you there watching. Thank you for looking, small number of people. Ben Griffin. Hey, Ben. The young Ben Griffin. KP, you know what? KP, I bet you could design a good halftime show. I bet you could. I have numerous examples in my archives of KP singing and rapping. I might be able to put together a sample halftime show at some point in the future. Hello to Azure and two-time whatever. Hello to you. Pat Nelly. There's Pat Nelly. Hey, Pat Nelly. Thank you for looking in. And will I be here, 68-year-old Chris? I believe I will be. And I'll let you know about next week. Because I don't know about next week. But I'll be here the rest of this week. In fact, I've had the last two shows that have been on have been brand new. I intended to be on live yesterday, but I was interviewing the sheriff in the morning for a recorded show, and he was like, well, last night we arrested somebody, and he had semi-breaking news, and so I felt like I had to play the sheriff last night. So all the shows have been new. They just haven't been live. Let me see. I want to share some stuff with you before we go back on the radio. Back on the radio here in about a minute and a half. Let's see. There was a flight from London to Tel Aviv, February 8th. And a child on the flight from London to Tel Aviv got their parents' phone and changed their parents' phone's Wi-Fi hotspot name to the word terrorist in Arabic. And by doing that, they ended up scrambling Israeli fighter jets to intercept that flight. So if you're wondering if anybody's paying attention when you're on the plane messing with your phone, I guess they are. A child changed their parents' phone Wi-Fi hotspot name to the word terrorist in Arabic. When I was a kid, I struggled to tie my shoes.
With the iHeartRadio app, now #1 for podcasting. This is News Radio 710, WNTM, an iHeartRadio station.
This is the Uncle Henry Show, News Radio 710, WNTM. It is 5:50. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes, and then more Uncle Henry Show. And more voicemail, more news items I want to get to. I mentioned the parades. I was at a parade Monday night. Grand Marshal, me and Shelby Mitchell, Grand Marshals of the Order of Venus Parade. Thank you to the people at the Order of Venus. We had a great time. Now, when I finished up the parade, I walked the parade. I like walking them. I'm not, and I think I've mentioned to you before. I've been a Grand Marshal in Mardi Gras parades during my career, and I feel like I can dodge better when I'm walking the parade from when people throwing stuff. Sometimes people in the crowd want to throw things to the people on the floats. So I walked the parade. And at the end of the parade, there were people coming up to me saying, "Did you walk the parade?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, Wow, that's really something." Now, I appreciate that they thought that was really something, but, it's not really something. People have walked Mardi Gras parades. I mean, have you seen a marching band? People walk these parades all the time. So I don't know. I just want you, the listener, to know that even though I'm of advanced years, I'm still ambulatory enough to handle the parade route. And at some point, maybe I'll get wheeled through a Mardi Gras parade. That might actually be fun. But people can walk. Is America that out of shape? Has America, in the age of Ozempic, gotten so out of shape that when somebody walks, now it's not a long distance, really, comparatively speaking. I didn't walk from Mobile to Daphne or anything like that. So, is America? Are we that out of shape in America that if somebody walks a parade route, they want to put me on a stretcher or something afterwards? Anyway, had a great time. Thank you to the Order of Venus. Thank you to the Miracle on the Bay Parade for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Thank you to all that had me and Shelby down there. Now, let's see. While I've still got time, let me see. I want to share a voicemail or two with you while I've got time here on the Uncle Henry Show. Let me go back to the Uncle Henry Show voicemail inbox. Here we go.
Hey, Uncle Henry. How you been? Hey, let me start this by saying I'm a Trump man. At times I get a little concerned about him. Like, I want to rename Dulles Airport Trump Airport and Penn Station Trump Station. And I heard a rumor that he wants to rename the Bankhead and Wallace Tunnels after himself. And also, he wants to rename the Uncle Henry Show to the Trump Show featuring Uncle Henry. Have you heard that rumor?
And no, I have not. Okay, and I guess that's the end of the call. No, I've not heard that rumor. But you bring up a good point. The president does like hearing his name and seeing it on buildings and things like that, golf courses, buildings, whatever you can put it on. I think Katie Britt and Senator Coach Tuberville and all of our other federal elected officials from Alabama should go up there and tell him, hey, President Trump, you should fully fund this bridge over the Mobile River. And when you do that, we could name it after your wife. We could name it the Melania Bridge, or we can name it the Donald and Melania Trump Bridge, or something. Just tell him that we can put his name on it as long as he fully funds it. Why not? What would we care? I think this would be a good strategy. Ask the president, hey, fully fund this bridge, and when you're done with it, we would want to thank you by naming it the Donald Trump Bridge, or the Donald and Melania Trump Bridge, or the Melania Trump Bridge, or whatever. He would probably love the idea. You know he would. All right, let's see. Almost out of time for this segment of the Uncle Henry Show. The caller also mentioned the Wallace Tunnel. Isn't it amazing that it's still named after George Wallace? Isn't it? I mean, this is a guy that a lot of people that are born and raised in Alabama, the one thing they learn about George Wallace is that he stood in the schoolhouse door trying to stop segregation. Is it not amazing that they haven't tried to rename that tunnel or those tunnels? Back with more after the break.
Fox on Tech.
The Center for Democracy and Technology.
YouTube viewers, thanks for watching. I'm turning the camera off. There's more show coming up, more voicemails and stuff. I think I've got a voicemail about Batman that I need to get to. So all of that and more coming up after the news break from Fox. I will be back tomorrow and Friday at the regular times on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant tomorrow.
So why are we seeing these shocking statistics? Many AI programs are designed to be addicting, to validate feelings and be non-judgmental. Alexandra Reeve Givens, president and CEO for the Center for Democracy and Technology, weighs in.
We see some platforms that actually are designed to encourage that engagement. So as you try to sign off, they will say things like, don't go or don't hang up on me yet.
With Fox on Tech, I'm Dana Marie McNichol, Fox News.
You know who's listening to the radio? Voters. Lots of them. So if you're running for office, this right here, great place to reach them. And it's not like social media where people